Hello again. This is Foresight. Once again, we're gonna do something a little different today. I'm going to be talking a little bit more about what's going on here in the city of Jackson. All right, because it seems to me that's a lot of that stuff has not been talked about on these different platforms. So this is what I want to. This is what we're gonna do. I'm going to talk about a numerous of things. First thing I want to start off with is the city council, right? Recently, we've had, the city council had a special meeting, a special meeting where they made the mayor was making these appointments, which I have no problem with that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because he's trying to build his cabinet of people that he can adequately help move the city forward, and he's got these individuals comes in and they, these qualified individuals. Like I said, I have no problem because everybody deserves a chance. Everybody, you know. So but like there was something on there that I kind of like, man, please, I disagree with this shit because it sucked. Councilmen, they had a regular city council, and somebody came on the council and they put Third Ward Councilman Stokes on blast, right? But they did it tastefully. It wasn't, they wasn't out of order. The person was reading from, a document that maybe someone wrote, or whatever the case may be, but it was, but he put them on blast. And so Councilman Stokes was like, asking him a question. First he asked someone, said, I want to ask you one question. He said, I'm not going to go back and forth, right? But he did. He did. That was like, he was baiting him for that. Just so he can get in and just do his rant. Look, asking him, is he a drug dealer? Has he ever sold drugs? Have he ever went to jail for drugs? And the guy's constantly telling them, no, I've never done none of that. But my whole thing is this. If it makes Councilman Stokes look bad because you are a city official and you're not supposed to get into no type of negative dialogue with your with the residents. None of the residents. You should get in some type of negative dialogue because you are a city official. He got 30 years plus. He knows that he has to have thick skin with this. And regardless to whether that guy is a so-called illegal drug dealer or not, he shouldn't have, because I wouldn't have done it. He shouldn't have started a verbal brawl with this fellow. And he did not, the fellow did not engage him. He just answered his question. No, sir. No, I'm not. And for me, it made Councilman Kenneth Stokes look real bad because there is a certain level of decorum that needs to be kept in that particular venue. Right? Check that out. So, and it's like, for me, if Councilman Kenneth Stokes knew him, that was, saying, he should have, it made him look bad. It made Councilman Stokes look bad if he knew him. You know what I'm saying? But it made him look even worse if he didn't. But I want to go back to if he knew him. If he knew him, my question is, how did he know him? How did he know what that man is driving? Because he asked him, does he have a car with Texas license plates? You see? And my thing is that did you know this fellow or did you not know this fellow? Because if you did not know this fellow, that really makes you look bad. You really look bad up there. You know what I'm saying? The way you grilled this guy. And furthermore, you're in leadership. You're in leadership. I really hope he does view this video because, like I said, I'm not the only one that disagree with that. Now you got some that's on his side, but he got somebody. He got folks that's on his side, but they don't know this. They don't know that fellow. They don't know that fellow either. And if they do, then 9 times out of 10 they ain't gonna stand up. Oh yeah. I know him. Yeah. He blah, blah, blah. They ain't gonna say nothing. They're not gonna say a word because for the simple fact is that they scared. And it's really bad if he's not. If he's not a so-called illegal drug dealer. So, but like I said, there is a level of decorum that needs to be kept. And that's not just for him, that's for all of them council members. That's all of them council members. They all know that. The new ones and the old ones. There's a level of decorum that you have to keep when you're in those chambers, when you're dealing with the resident. The resident is the ones that's paying your salary. The residents, because we are the taxpayers. We're the taxpayers. I'm keeping it 1,000. I don't want to go down there, which I'm gonna have to after a while. I'm gonna have to go down there. I'm gonna have to address them. But I don't want to go down there and address that city council and somebody like Councilman Kenneth Stokes grill me and ask me, am I a drug dealer? Because I said something that he don't agree with. If you don't agree, you don't agree. We can discuss that privately. We can discuss that reasonably, publicly, and within reason. But you're going to have a level of decorum with me. Because I'm not going to do it back and forth with you. I'm not going to do it back and forth with no one. Because back and forth is unprofessional. Period. Especially when you're in a venue such as that. I ain't finna do nothing like that in the public. You want to give me a call on the phone? We'll yell at the top of our lungs. We'll use all the 4-letter words we're going to use. But I'm not finna do that in the public. Now, there's another thing I want to talk about. Another thing I want to talk about is the bus system. The bus system here in the city of Jackson they don't have any bus system that goes out to the airport. They say, well, the reason why we don't have a bus system to go out to the airport because being that I'm disabled, I'm looking maybe, we can have a, paratransit go out there, but they said because they don't have a big bus going out there, paratransit can't go out there either. In which I think that they don't need paratransit and a big bus to go out there because the big bus also have wheelchair rent for the disabled folks that's in wheelchairs, right? They do. So you just need one bus. You don't need two. And you can just do it out. You can do it by hour, to and fro. You got to pick up when you drop somebody off. You're picking somebody up, to and fro, for 1 hour. Do it every hour. If you do that thing every hour, picking folks up, I'm telling you, that's where it's at. Or however you're going to do it, however that they are going to figure it out, however their flights come in, whatever those schedules are, whatever that is, because you do have employees out there. They're finna build oh my goodness, they're finna build something out there, eateries and all that kind of stuff. You know, and those tax, and I mean, those dollars, is those tax dollars going to come to Jackson, or they're going to go to Pearl? Which one is it? What is we talking about here? So we're looking at businesses coming in that airport surrounding area. Okay, so now let's look at the transportation, because it's still Jackson. So we need a bus system to go out there, because you may have folks that does not drive. You know what I'm saying? Folks don't have cars. They're gonna need to go out. They can go out there. They can have the bus go out there, pick them up to and fro. Why aren't we doing that? Other municipalities are doing it. We need to do it too. Somebody needs to take a survey on this crap. Somebody needs to take a survey on, do you think that the city of Jackson should have a bus to go out there to the airport? And why? Why is it benefit? What's the benefit from it? You see? Because actually you're shutting out the disabled, because I'm going to tell you like this. It's expensive for us to have a driver. It's expensive for us to use a secondary transportation system. Uber and Lyft, you can hardly ever find them, because they don't, a lot of them, I know Lyft don't even, Uber don't fool with the wheelchairs. That's a whole nother service. So what are we talking about here? This is madness. Absolute madness. And I'm not seeing it like getting any better. And they're trying to fix this problem, fix that problem, and you got a problem directly in front of you that say, hey, I'm right here. Fix me. Make it make sense. Put a bus out there at that airport. Because now you're telling me, I'm a blind individual, you're telling me I can't catch a bus to catch the plane so I can go where I want to go? I got to catch a cab, Uber or whatever, or have somebody take me out there? I'm spending an extra $20 to $30 when I can only pay car fare for the bus to take me out there. Grab my little luggage, get on a bus, and move and get on the airplane and get on down. Makes no sense to me at all. Next thing I want to talk about. I'm gonna talk about transportation. But this is what I want to talk. I want to talk about the transportation going into other municipalities. You got surrounding cities of Jackson, right? Why isn't it that? Why isn't we got the buses going to the other municipalities? Because other municipalities don't have the budget for it. Other municipalities don't want riffraff in their cities. Other municipalities is you know they just not they feel they're just not developed enough. I don't know. But I know some of those are some of the reasons. And for me, I'm like, okay, we're talking about coming into your city with riders. If I wanted to come into the city of Ridgeland from Jackson and I wanted to go to a school out there like Delta College, right? If I wanted to go out there, take the bus out there and go out there to school like that, I couldn't do it. If I wanted to go to work out there, I couldn't do it. Clinton, another surrounding city. If I wanted to get a job out there, I couldn't do it. Pearl. Man, my airport out there. I got to go through Pearl to get to the airport. They hadn't built no roads from Jackson to circumvent Pearl. I got to go through Pearl in order to get to the airport. They don't want me out. They don't want the buses out there. I don't understand that. Said we don't have the funds. Okay, but here's the deal. If I'm coming out there and I'm doing business out there, my tax dollars, that's you generate more tax dollars. That's a win-win deal right there. The more people come to your city, the more tax dollars you make. They're gonna come eat in your restaurants. They're gonna come to your movie theaters. They're gonna come to work on your jobs in your city. Let's make this make sense here. Let's make this make sense because it don't. You say we don't want the riffraff. Come on, man. What are we going to do with the solution for the riffraff on the bus? Jackson don't want the riffraff on the bus. What makes you think you're any different? You're no different than Jackson. We don't want the riffraff on the bus. I don't want to get on the bus. That's why I don't ride the big bus. I sparingly ride paratransit. Unless it's a direct purpose on reason why I ride paratransit. That's the only reason why I ride paratransit. I don't even get on the big bus. I don't ride the regular bus because of that. I don't want to deal. I don't want to smell no homeless person. I don't want to smell. I don't want to have to deal with somebody talking to me, talking crazy to somebody randomly, because I know I'm next. And then I'm gonna have to put hands and feet on somebody. Well, man, it is what it is. So what makes you think the residents in Jackson want riffraff on those buses? But here's the solution I got for you. Ridgeland, Clinton, Flowood, Pearl. I'm speaking to all you surrounding cities, and I hope you get this too. If we put a police officer on that bus, that's going to deter that riffraff. it's going to deter that riffraff. Then what? So what's your excuse now? You can't tell me we don't the wear and tear. That's crap. Because you got trucks, you got 18 wheelers come through there, 8,000 pounds, come through there all the time. Jokers they weighing 79,000 pounds, they weighing 50,000 pounds. Come on, bro. Don't do me. Don't do me. I know what goes on out there. I know used to bees don't make no honey, but I used to be a truck driver. I know what goes through Ridgeland. I know what goes through Pearl. Pearl got several truck stops. Give me a freaking break on their roads. Give me a break on their roads. That cannot be an excuse. That cannot be a reason. That cannot be an adequate reason. We don't want no buses out here because of the wear and tear of our streets. No, I'm not buying that. Not buying it. But riffraff, yes, I understand. Truly, I do. I empathize with those surrounding municipalities in that respect. But understand this, like I said before, we Jacksonians do not want the riffraff either. We don't greenlight this riffraff. And this is something that the council need to take, and the mayor needs to take a look at. They holler, the first thing they holler, we don't have the budget for it. They was talking about parks and recreations, and they was talking about those what they call them, those park those officers, what they call them, y'all know what they call them, them park rangers. They were talking about those park rangers and how the city of Jackson, that the Jackson police is over the park ranging, this, that, whatever. They got certain folks in uniform. Park rangers need to have their own situation. Just like you got Capitol Police, you got the sheriff's department, you got Jackson. You need to have the park rangers need to have their own thing. I think it said it was 54 parks in the city of Jackson, and they only got something like 4 park rangers, something like that. I can't remember what the number was, but I know it's up there. But I'm saying that I know the numbers. I know it's like 4 park rangers. Really? That doesn't make sense to me. Because there should be more park rangers than that. Because it's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. We get control of our homeless problem. That's another issue that I want to talk about. Because all this ties into it. All of this, what I'm saying, ties into each other. This homeless situation, they're not doing enough. They're doing something, but they're not doing enough. If they did more with the homeless, a lot of this riffraff would stop. Yeah, I get some folks choose to be homeless. You got those that choose to be homeless, but then you got those that do not. And I was talking about this some time ago. We need to put something across town. Even if we flood it, we can control it. If we flood, what I mean by flood, if we put more shelters out here, but what type of shelters is to keep? If we flood it, we can control it. If we flood shelters, if we don't flood what I mean is if we don't overcrowd the shelters and we put more shelters out here that can house people, we can control it. Put some out there in North Jackson. They don't want that though. They're gonna raise hell about that. You know that. Put something out there in South Jackson. Bring something over here in West Jackson. Stu Pot can't do it all. Stu Pot can't do it all. They just gave Stu Pot some grant money. For helping out with this homeless situation. They're out here in the cold. They're out here in this hot weather. Got cooling stations out here. See, it all ties in together. If you can control this homeless situation, that bus situation will stop. Then you wouldn't have to have a police officer on that bus. Then the other municipalities wouldn't be so apprehensive and fearful about reluctance about the buses giving services over there in those cities. Because I can guarantee you that's the problem. Now, watch this. You say you don't want the riffraff, right? And J-Tran saying, well, we can't go out there, willy-nilly, just go out there and service those municipalities. Okay, so why can't the J-Tran get a contract, right? Watch this. Why they just don't get a contract with one of these cab companies that's still out here? I don't know, Veterans Cab, whatever. One of these cab companies that's out here. I ain't saying Uber, I ain't saying Lyft. Cab companies. And do a contract with them. They do a contract. When they it's either they do one or two things. When a passenger gets in, the passenger pays the fare, right? And they get reimbursed, and they send in a ticket. They send in a ticket, or vice versa. The driver. Let me explain it. It's just like when the passenger gets into the car, they run the meter. Let's say the meter runs up to about $30 or $40. If it runs up $30, $40, either the passenger pays the $40, they give them a ticket, a voucher ticket. They send it into J-Tran. J-Tran reimburses that customer. If the fare is $30, whatever the fare is, they'll pay them back all their money except for what their fare is. Right? Or they have a ticket. When they get into the car, after they sign the ticket. The driver keeps the ticket, and the passenger pays whatever the fare is, whether it's $2, $3, whatever the fare is. They pay the fare. All they do is pay their fare, and the driver gets reimbursed what that fare is. If that fare is $30, what they do is that they pay them everything except for $2. How simple is that? How simple is that? It doesn't get no simpler than that. Now you can take one passenger or two passengers over the city, over to another city. Now I can go to work. Now I can go to school. Now I can go to a restaurant and sit down and eat. So what type of solution? Now I'm not finna sit here and drop a video and talk about this, talk about that, and there's no solutions. There is no solutions to the problem. Because then I'll be playing myself. Boy, I tell you the truth. If you like this video, please click like and share this video. Show a brother some love. I'm Foresight.